changed so quickly. Hashtag fire Triple H was apparently going around. I didn't even really know about it. I'm not gonna lie, or whatever. Then it popped up, and I was like, then I seen that he changed the create that road dog is getting a team, and it's gonna be changed for the creative. And I thought about doing this, and then I seen a lot of other people doing it, like WWE bad right now. Why I stopped watching and all the other stuff. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I've kind of sort of stopped watching too. Like I've been keeping up through other people and their podcasts and all the other stuff, but I myself hasn't been watching. And I want to say I was like, I haven't been watching uh at least the run up for the last two pay per views. So that's WrestlePalooza. Uh, I was like, you know what? No, I seen SummerSlam. I seen SummerSlam. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I seen SummerSlam or whatever. So I think since then I was like, it's been no me watching. Um, and I just thought I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one. So I was like, I guess I wasn't gonna really pile on too much with them or whatever. Because I was just thinking, I was like, oh, I'm not. Well, I'm like, it just kind of just had a been something like, oh man, I need to clue in to see what's going on. I'm like, no, it done got to that point where, and I was like, it's weird because I was like, this always sort of happened with WWE. To be honest, is that they sort of do run up to the point where I want to say, then a little bit after Survivor Series, it picks up where it's like there's a lull where the stories are so kind of predictable that you don't need to actually watch it. And not that predictability is bad. I was like, but predictability to all of it is the sort of the problem. Like we know who might come out of this as the winner majority of the time. That's fine. I was like, but the point where all the beats of it is kind of like, oh, okay, or just like, oh, meaningless talk. Like like it done got stagnant. I was like, where I wanted to go with this is the fact that I said at the beginning of the year for 2025 that I said everybody would turn on Triple H, and I was like, I might actually just review the video I did here at one point at some point, but the point was basically is the fact that and I was like, some of it is just kind of like some of us are just fickle where it's just like, hey, I want the awesome, I want the great, I want this, I want that. Why am I not getting my stuff? And the thing is, my stuff ain't your stuff. So that means that but we all could just talk and blast crap on Twitter or any other place. But then there's also the point of, like, yes, we all understand the heights of the bloodline, Cody winning at WrestleMania, the heights of that, where it kind of like, oh, there's nowhere to go but down. But there's a difference of like, you get an A plus, and it's like, well, there's no other way to sort of go sometimes than down. But down could be an A minus. A can be a B plus. You know what I'm saying? A doesn't have to be at the point where I'm like, yo, this thing is just average or below it. And that's sort of how I feel with a lot of stuff. And so I was like everything that was leading us from the previous year sort of had me skeptical of stuff. And I was like, I know everybody sort of talked about like, the Saudis thing and, Brock coming back and ticket prices being high. And I think that is the compounding nature of it all. I don't think that's what any of this stuff is. Because I was like, even if you feel about any of those type of things, you're still sort of in the small minority of some of that. Just because I was like, if the tickets, I was like, ticket prices can be high, but if the product was hella good, do you sort of feel like it's worth it to a pretty much, I was like, people are saying it's worth it now when it's not even at that level because it's a live experience thing. So there's that. The Brock thing, I was like, look, he was there, now he's gone, whatever. I was like, there's been bad people at the thing, at wrestling, to where it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying that you just sit out there, you just get over and nothing like that. But I'm just saying that I think if the stuff was going good, you can ignore that because it's like unless you're gonna play a major part, then I like the signing thing. I was like, once again, if it was running at a high level, you wouldn't feel as badly of what could be in the future if everything was going well right now. You know, because you're like, okay, things are going good so much right now that we could pretty much survive whatever we get next time. It's just not. I was like, it's just not good. And I think that's really, I was like, I think it's from the storyline. I think it's from the characters. I think it's from the lack of the characters you could have had as well too. I think that we're sort of just, I was like, everything is just seeming like it's plotting, and it's like most of the time it sort of feel like it's plotting because it's like, oh, okay, we're about to get to the Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, to the Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. It feel like it's even slowed down from even that, where it's kind of like, okay, we know at least some of this stuff is going to happen, but why is there nothing happening in between? And everything just feels like it just, at this point. Um, I was like, so I think that's kind of what it is. It's just that it just like it's so stagnant. And the crazy thing is that the Fire Triple A stuff is I didn't think it would get to this point. Well, I said the turning on would happen this year. I didn't think it would get to that point of Fire Triple H. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like okay, everybody gonna start sounding and being like, "Yo, what you doing? Why this ain't here? You are you doing too much with the Kill Tony stuff?" But now that but it's to the point where people are like, "Yo, I want you gone." That's wild. I was like I've seen people being like, "Oh man, when Vince was here," and it's like, okay, that's a little bit too much. But there is stuff that I'm like, I do think that I was like I did like about what Vince did compared to Triple H, just because I was like, see, Vince. See, I will say this. I was like, Vince's predictability sucked. That sucked in comparison to Triple H's predictability. You know, I was like, because I was like, Vince's was the same thing over and over. Like it would pass stagnant. It was like, oh my god. It's like it basically if you had your worst show episode on repeat on your favorite show. That basically what it was. But I was like, yes. But I'm surprised it got to the point where everybody's at the point of like having for a job. I think that's why I didn't think we would get here to this point at all. I was like, because we didn't even make it through. We haven't got really through the year. Um, and the thing is like there's nothing you can say that isn't. I was like, yes, I know he has creative control, but there's nothing that you can say like at least like the last year stuff like that. There were injuries in a lot of places that you sort of understood. You know what I mean? Like like Rhea got hurt. I was like Liv is the only one that really got hurt to me this year, but everybody else has been fully healthy. But I was just like I'm like Punk was hurt. I was like, but so I was like, there was a few injuries last year that I was like, okay, this is why this is taking a little bit extra. I was like, Bianca's hurt this year as well, but I don't think that would have necessarily really changed Naomi. I do think that sort of hurt it a bit with her pregnancy, but nothing. I don't feel like they weren't doing major things with them that made it seem different. So I was like, he ain't there's none of them excuses there. You have your full roster there, and I think that's also the problem is that you got your full roster and you ain't doing nothing. Listen, I was like talking about to the cows go home or whatever. I was like, I felt like some of this goes into kind of like I think they're having a problem of care. I was like, it's like a thing of like storylines to be honest, but I think the characters that I was like he's relying upon to carry over us not having storylines is also suffering, and to where it's like that was able to hold up some of these things, but now it's starting to wane. Where it's like okay, the Cody character can only get us so far. Randy Orton could only get us so far. OTC coming back here and there only could do it so far. You know, like after some point, it's like okay, cool. We know we got these guys. I don't really care anymore. And then the other people haven't been developed at all to where you care about them. So you don't have the characters right now, or the characters. So some of the characters are over saturated at this point in a way that, and it's not none of the storyline is helping with also that. So I was like, I think it's an imbalance. I wouldn't even say an imbalance. I was like, there ain't no damn balance. I was like, cause I was like, neither one of them is helping. I was like, because you're not doing anything on either side of helping out either one of those things. But yeah, I was like, no, I did not expect this to come this far. I thought it was going to be. I thought we would at least get to being like, hey, let's see how the Rumble goes before we start coming at, sure. And maybe actually be honest, but I was like, I also think this is a good thing because you get to hit this before also the Rumble. Because I was like, while I was talking about like, why not wait till the Rumble? I thought that maybe people would. It's actually good that it happens this early because right now it's the best time to probably change whatever you probably have for the route to WrestleMania, or to further. I was like further go in routes to WrestleMania because after Rollins and Punk, everything else is kind of in the air about stuff. So I was like, I think now I was like, it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna have to like whatever basic ass shit they was gonna do. Now it's like, okay, maybe we pull something out the hat because guess what? At this point, yo, you gonna have to hit with some surprises because we ain't been hit with nothing that seems like it was any good, surprising, fun, nothing. It's just been like wrestling, WWE, cool. Anyway, hashtag fire the trips, man. Fire the trips. H is not my favorite letter. And I get that 3 times. Too much. Anyway, till, yeah. Cool. Beans.